You wake up one morning, look down, and realize something you thought was gone forever has suddenly returned. At 73 years old, you feel that spark again, the confidence, the pulse of energy, the quiet power of being a man. And the most shocking part? It didn't come from a pill, a prescription, or a procedure. It came from adding just one simple vitamin to a glass of water. My name is Dr. Mohit Khera. I'm a urologist and men's health specialist with over 30 years of experience helping men rediscover their strength, vitality, and confidence. I've seen hundreds of patients who believed aging had stolen their manhood, until we found the one thing their body was missing all along. Most men believe decline is inevitable, that when you lose your morning vigor, it's just part of getting older. But that's not true. What if I told you that your body isn't failing you? It's simply running out of the raw materials it needs to perform. That inside every man, even at 70 or 80, the engine still works. It just needs the right spark. Today, I'll reveal that spark. The vitamin that reawakens your circulation, restores your hormonal rhythm, and reignites that inner fire you thought time had taken away. And in a few moments, I'll show you how a 73-year-old man used this exact ritual to bring his manhood back to life, proving that it's never too late to feel alive again. Before we dive in, if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. That way, you won't miss any of my upcoming advice designed to help men like you regain their strength and vitality. And if this message resonates with you, type 1 in the comments to let me know it helped. If not, type 0 so I can keep improving these lessons for you. Now, let's begin with a story that changed the way I see aging forever. The story of a 73-year-old man who walked into my office feeling defeated, and within just a few weeks, discovered that his strength, energy, and manhood could return from one simple daily ritual. 1. The 73-year-old man who thought it was over. I still remember the morning he walked into my office. His name was Richard, 73 years old, retired engineer, married for more than 40 years. He moved slowly, the way a man moves when he's been carrying invisible weight for too long. He sat down, looked at the floor for a moment, then finally met my eyes. "Doctor," he said quietly, "I think I'm losing it. My energy is gone, my drive is gone. I don't even feel like myself anymore." There was a sadness in his voice that I've heard too many times before, the quiet grief of a man who believes his best days are behind him. I asked him a few simple questions about his sleep, his diet, his daily habits. Everything sounded typical for a man his age, but something didn't sit right with me. Richard didn't look sick. He looked depleted, like a battery left to drain for years without a proper recharge, and I told him exactly that. "Richard," I said, "you're not broken. You're just running on empty." He gave me a small smile, half hopeful, half skeptical, as if he wanted to believe but had already tried everything. Instead of writing him a prescription, I gave him a challenge. I said, "Go home, and for the next 30 days, add one specific vitamin to your water every single morning. Don't overthink it, just do it." He chuckled, thinking it sounded too simple to matter, but he agreed. For the next month, he followed that instruction faithfully, every single day. 4 weeks later, he came back to my office. The man who walked through my door that day was not the same man I had met before. His posture was taller, his eyes brighter, his handshake firmer. "Doc," he said laughing, "I added it to my water, and my manhood came back." I could see it in his face. He wasn't exaggerating. He was alive again. He had rediscovered something he thought was gone forever. His wife even called my office a week later just to say, "Thank you for giving me my husband back." That's the power of giving the body what it truly needs. Not drugs, not shortcuts, but simple nourishment that reawakens the systems designed to keep you vital. And if you think Richard's story is remarkable, wait until you understand why this transformation happened and how it can happen for you too. Because the real secret lies not in age, but in what your body has been missing all along. 2. Why men lose their morning vitality. As a urologist, I've spent decades listening to men describe that same quiet frustration the moment they realized their mornings weren't the same anymore. They stopped waking up with that firm, unmistakable signal that once made them feel alive. For many men, It's not just about sex. It's about identity. It's about waking up and feeling strong, capable, and grounded in your masculinity. When that fades, something deep inside begins to dim as well. Here's what most men don't realize. Losing your morning vitality isn't a sign of weakness or aging. It's a warning light. It's your body whispering that something beneath the surface is breaking down. The problem isn't your desire, it's your circulation. That morning erection you used to have every day is one of the most reliable markers of vascular health. When your arteries are flexible and responsive, blood flows freely, especially during deep, restorative sleep. But when inflammation, stress, and years of poor nutrition take their toll, those blood vessels stiffen like old rubber hoses. The flow slows, the pressure drops, and the signal never reaches where it needs to go. I often tell my patients, your body is like a car you've driven for 70 years. The engine still works beautifully, but the oil is dirty, the lines are clogged, and the parts haven't been lubricated in decades. You can't expect performance when the system is deprived of the nutrients that keep it running smoothly. Over time, oxidative stress, tiny sparks of cellular damage, starts eating away at your arteries, your nerves, and even your hormonal balance. That's when your energy fades, your sleep worsens, and that spark of manhood disappears quietly into the background. But here's the good news. This breakdown isn't permanent. I've seen men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s reignite their vitality once they understood what their body truly needed. You can restore blood flow, rebuild your vessel walls, and bring back the signals that define your strength. It's not about turning back the clock, it's about restoring balance. Because when your body gets what it's been missing, it knows exactly what to do. And that brings us to the foundation of everything, the simple nutrient that begins the rebuilding process from the inside out. It's the same vitamin that turned Richard's story around, and it just might be the one thing your body has been craving all along. 3. The first key, vitamin C, the rebuilder. When I first tell my patients that one of the most powerful tools for restoring their vitality is something as simple as vitamin C, they usually give me that look, half amused, half doubtful. Vitamin C? Isn't that just for colds, doc? I understand why they ask. We've been taught to think of vitamin C as a cheap, ordinary supplement, something we take when we feel a sniffle coming on. But the truth is, vitamin C is one of the most extraordinary defenders of male vitality that nature ever designed. It's not just an immune booster, it's the foundation of your body's repair system. Inside every man's arteries, nerves, and tissues, thousands of tiny reactions are happening every second. These processes rely on balance, but with age, stress, and poor diet, that balance tips. Free radicals, unstable oxygen molecules, start bouncing around your bloodstream like sparks from a grinding wheel. They damage your vessel walls, erode your collagen, and create what I call silent stiffness, the slow, invisible process that chokes off your blood flow. Over time, that's what turns vibrant circulation into tired, unresponsive arteries. Vitamin C is your shield against that damage. It captures those free radicals before they can wreak havoc, protecting your cells from the inside out. But even more importantly, vitamin C helps your body build collagen, the very protein that gives structure and elasticity to your arteries. Without collagen, your vessels lose their spring and become brittle. With it, they stay flexible, able to open wide and deliver blood exactly where it needs to go. That means stronger circulation, better oxygen flow, and a body that wakes up ready to perform. In every sense of the word. The reason adding vitamin C to your morning water is so powerful is that your body can't store it. It's water-soluble, which means whatever you don't use today simply washes away. That's why consistency is key. A little bit every single day gives your body the signal: repair, restore, rebuild. I've watched men regain the color in their skin, the sharpness in their focus, and yes, the confidence in their manhood, all from feeding their arteries this simple daily dose of life. And yet, vitamin C is only the beginning. Because while it rebuilds the highways of your body, there's another vitamin that controls the engine, the hormone switch that determines whether your body runs in idle or full power. And once that switch is turned back on, everything changes. 4. The second key, vitamin D, the hormonal switch. If vitamin C rebuilds the body's structure, then vitamin D is the switch that turns the whole system back on. I can't tell you how many men I've seen who come into my office exhausted, unmotivated, and quietly embarrassed about how far their energy has fallen. They assume it's aging or stress or just the way life goes. But when I run their blood work, one pattern shows up again and again: dangerously low levels of vitamin D. And when that number is low, it's like someone has dimmed the lights on their entire life. See, vitamin D isn't really a vitamin at all. It's a hormone precursor, a substance your body uses to trigger other essential hormones, including testosterone. Think of it as the master switch in the control room of your body. When it's on, signals fire clearly from your brain to your testes, commanding your body to produce testosterone, repair tissue, and maintain drive. When it's off, the system slows down. The brain stops sending those strong signals. The machinery of hormone production weakens, and over time, a man starts to feel like a faded version of himself. I've seen men go from feeling completely burned out to feeling vibrant again just by correcting this one deficiency. After a few weeks of steady vitamin D supplementation, their posture improves, their laughter comes back, and their sleep deepens. It's subtle at first. A little more energy in the morning, a bit more motivation to get outside, a clearer sense of confidence. But inside, the hormonal gears are turning again. The body is remembering what it means to be fully alive. What makes vitamin D even more fascinating is how simple it is to restore. You can get it from sunlight, yes, but as we age, our skin loses the ability to produce enough, even with time outdoors. That's why I recommend a few drops of liquid vitamin D3 in your morning water. A direct, reliable source that feeds your hormonal system daily. It's like giving your body permission to feel young again. And while vitamin D fires up the engine, there's another nutrient that ensures your arteries, the roads carrying that new vitality, stay clear, smooth, and flexible. Because if those pathways clog, all that energy and blood flow will never reach their destination. Let's talk about that next. 5. The third key, vitamin K2, the traffic controller. There's a quiet hero in the story of men's health that almost no one talks about, and that's vitamin K2. When I mention it to my patients, they usually frown and ask, "Isn't that for blood clotting?" That's vitamin K1. Vitamin K2 is something entirely different. And for men over 60, it can be the difference between a sluggish body and one that feels alive and responsive again. I call it the traffic controller of the bloodstream, because that's exactly what it does. It directs calcium to where it's needed and keeps it away from where it can do harm. See, calcium is supposed to strengthen your bones and teeth, but as we age, especially when vitamin K2 levels fall, calcium becomes a wanderer. It floats through the bloodstream without guidance, and instead of settling in your bones, it starts attaching itself to your arteries. Over time, this creates microscopic buildup that hardens those once flexible blood vessels, turning them into rigid pipes. When that happens, blood can't move freely. Not to your heart, not to your brain, and certainly not to the places that define your manhood. I remember a patient named Henry, 68, who once told me, "Doc, I feel like my body's turned to stone." In a way, he was right. His arteries were literally stiffening from the inside. Once we added vitamin K2 into his routine, paired with D3 and a balanced diet, his follow-up scans showed improved vascular flexibility. But what mattered most to him wasn't the test results. It was that he felt warmth again in his body, energy in his legs, and life returning to the moments he thought were gone. Vitamin K2 activates a special protein called matrix GLA, which tells calcium to leave the arteries and head back into the bones. It's like a cleanup crew that clears the highways of your circulatory system so that blood can flow freely again. And when that blood starts moving with power and precision, men notice it everywhere. In their energy, their stamina, and their intimate performance. So while vitamin D wakes up your hormones, vitamin K2 keeps the channels open for that life force to move smoothly through your body. But there's still one more layer of protection your cells need, something that shields them from daily damage and keeps your blood vessels young and resilient. And once you understand that, everything you've built so far becomes even stronger. 6. The final shield. Vitamin E, the cell protector. If vitamin C rebuilds, vitamin D awakens, and vitamin K2 clears the path, then vitamin E stands guard. I like to call it the body's silent guardian, the layer of armor protecting your cells from the wear and tear of daily life. Over the years, I've seen how oxidative stress quietly steals a man's vitality, not in dramatic bursts, but through slow erosion. It's what makes your energy fade, your skin dull, and your circulation sluggish. Vitamin E steps in like a sentinel, shielding every cell from that relentless attack. While vitamin C protects the watery parts of your body, vitamin E safeguards the fatty layers, the membranes that surround every cell, including those lining your arteries. These membranes are vital. They control how your cells breathe, communicate, and expand. When they're damaged, blood vessels lose their ability to relax and widen, and that means less oxygen, less blood flow, and less vitality. Vitamin E prevents that breakdown. It strengthens the walls, keeps them supple, and gives your circulatory system the flexibility it needs to perform like it did decades ago. I remember one patient, David, 71 years old, who told me his legs felt heavy and his energy drained every afternoon. We added a natural form of vitamin E, specifically tocotrienols, to his regimen. 3 weeks later, he walked into my office with a brightness I hadn't seen before. He told me, "Doc, I don't know what's happening, but I feel lighter." That's what vitamin E does. It doesn't just protect, it liberates. It frees your cells from the constant assault of oxidation so your body can finally focus on rebuilding instead of defending. When you combine vitamin E with the other nutrients we've discussed, something remarkable happens. The body doesn't just function better, it rejuvenates. Blood moves freely, cells communicate efficiently, and the systems that once felt disconnected start working in perfect harmony again. It's like tuning an orchestra that's been out of sync for years. And the best part is, once your cells are protected, the foundation is ready for the most practical, life-changing step of all. The simple daily habit that brings all these pieces together into one effortless ritual. 7. How to put it all together. The 30-second morning ritual. When I tell men that restoring their strength and energy can take less than 30 seconds a day, they usually laugh, until they try it. Because what I'm about to share isn't a miracle cure or a complicated program. It's a simple daily ritual, something so easy that once you start, you'll wonder why you didn't do it years ago. The secret lies not in doing more, but in doing the right thing, consistently, deliberately, and with intention. Every morning, before breakfast, pour yourself a small glass of water. Add a pinch of vitamin C powder, a few drops of liquid vitamin D3, and a few drops of vitamin K2 in the MK7 form. Stir it gently, take a deep breath, and drink it down slowly. In less than half a minute, you've just given your body the fuel it's been asking for. The nutrients that rebuild your arteries, activate your hormones, and keep your circulation open and strong. That small glass of water isn't just hydration, it's a signal to your body that the repair process has begun. I've watched men who once felt worn out and disconnected come back to life after making this a habit. Within a week or two, their mornings felt lighter, their energy returned. They slept deeper, breathed easier, and found themselves standing taller. Then, one morning, something unmistakable happened. That quiet, confident sign that their body was working again. And the look in their eyes when they told me, it was the look of a man who had rediscovered himself. This ritual isn't about quick results, it's about consistency. Each day builds upon the last, repairing, restoring, and reawakening the systems that time and stress have silenced. The longer you commit to it, the stronger your results will become. You'll begin to notice changes not just in your energy, but in how you carry yourself, how you feel about your body, and how you connect with the world around you. And here's the most beautiful part. Once you feel this shift, once you experience what real restoration feels like, you'll never want to go back. Because the next step isn't just about maintenance, it's about reclaiming control over your entire life, your purpose, and the way you age from this day forward. 8. Real results. The story of a 73-year-old man who got his life back. A few months ago, a man named Richard walked into my office. 73 years old, shoulders slightly slumped, eyes tired in a way I've seen too many times before. He sat down and said quietly, "Doctor, I just don't feel like myself anymore. My energy is gone, my drive is gone, and it's been years since I've woken up feeling like a man." There was no anger in his voice, just quiet resignation, the kind that comes when you start to believe that life's best moments are behind you. I looked at him and said, "Richard, it's not your age. It's your body asking for help." We didn't start with medication or surgery. Instead, I gave him a challenge. A simple 30-second ritual every morning. Water, vitamin C, vitamin D3, and vitamin K2. That's it. No gimmicks, no false promises, just pure nutritional restoration. He hesitated, of course. After all, how could something so simple make such a difference after years of fatigue? But he agreed to try. A few weeks later, Richard walked back into my office. But this time, he looked different. His skin had more color, his eyes were clearer, and he carried himself with quiet confidence. He smiled and said, "Doc, I didn't think it would happen, but I woke up this morning and my body reminded me that I'm still alive." That's the moment every doctor lives for, when you see the spark return to a man who thought it was gone forever. He wasn't chasing youth, he was rediscovering vitality. Within a month, Richard was sleeping better, moving easier, and feeling sharper. His blood pressure improved, his stress levels dropped, and he began taking morning walks again. It wasn't a miracle. It was biology doing what it's designed to do once you give it the right support. His story isn't rare. I've seen this same transformation countless times in men who simply decided to take back control, one morning at a time. And now, I want to show you exactly how you can start this same transformation. How to build this powerful ritual into your mornings the right way with the exact doses and combinations that work best for men over 60. Because once you understand this final step, you'll never see aging the same way again. 9. How you can start today. The path back to strength and confidence. If you've made it this far, you already understand something most men never do. That your body hasn't given up on you. It's simply been waiting for the right support to come alive again. I want you to know, it's never too late. Whether you're 60, 70, or beyond, your body is still capable of repair, still capable of strength, and still capable of passion. I've watched it happen over and over again, in men who thought their best years were long gone, until they took this small, powerful step toward change. Here's exactly what I tell every patient who sits across from me. Start small, but stay consistent. Begin tomorrow morning. Fill a glass with water, add a small scoop of vitamin C powder, a few drops of liquid vitamin D3, and a few drops of vitamin K2, MK7. Stir it well. Take a deep breath. And as you drink, I want you to think of it as more than a supplement. Think of it as a signal. You're telling your body, "I'm ready to heal. I'm ready to feel alive again." It might sound simple, but this moment marks the turning point for countless men I've treated. Within days, most men notice something subtle: clearer thinking, steadier energy, deeper sleep. Within weeks, they often report something even more profound. Their body begins to respond again. Their blood flow improves, their stamina grows, and that quiet confidence, the kind that radiates from the inside, begins to return. I can't tell you how many times I've seen men walk taller, laugh louder, and rediscover a sense of purpose they thought was gone forever. And the beauty of this process is that it doesn't require expensive procedures or complicated routines. It's about giving your body the building blocks it's been missing. Just 30 seconds each morning to feed your circulation, protect your arteries, and reignite the hormone signals that drive your vitality. Every sip becomes a reminder that aging doesn't mean decline. It means refinement, wisdom, and the chance to live stronger than ever before. So, as you begin this journey, remember this: consistency creates transformation. Each morning glass isn't just a habit, it's a promise to yourself. Because in the next section, I'll show you how to sustain this progress long-term and how to make your 60s, 70s, and beyond the most powerful years of your life. 10. Staying consistent. Turning a simple habit into lifelong vitality. The truth about transformation is that it's never about a single breakthrough. It's about what you choose to do every day afterward. I've seen men start strong, feel incredible after a few weeks, and then slowly slip back into old habits. The key difference between the ones who keep their vitality and those who lose it isn't age, genetics, or luck. It's consistency. Real, lasting change happens when that 30-second ritual becomes as natural as brushing your teeth in the morning. I often tell my patients, your body listens to what you do most often, not what you do occasionally. When you give it what it needs every day, the vitamins, the hydration, the rest, it begins to trust you again. It starts working with you, not against you. Each morning glass of water fortified with vitamin C, D3, and K2 becomes a quiet act of commitment. You're rebuilding your foundation molecule by molecule, cell by cell. And over time, those small choices add up to something extraordinary, not just better erections or stronger energy, but a sense of control over your life that you might not have felt in decades. I've had patients tell me they travel with their little bottles of vitamins, keeping their ritual alive no matter where they go. One man, 76 years old, wrote me a letter saying, "Doc, I've done this every morning for 8 months. My doctor cut back my blood pressure meds, I sleep better, and I feel more confident than I did in my 50s. That's what happens when you honor the process. Your body rewards you for it. Consistency doesn't mean perfection. It means showing up for yourself, even on the mornings when you're tired or rushed. It means remembering that this ritual is more than a supplement routine. It's an act of respect for your body and your future. When you treat your health as something sacred, everything else in life begins to align around it. And once this new rhythm becomes a part of who you are, the next step is where the real magic begins. Because that's when we start optimizing. That's when you take the solid foundation you've built and turn it into unstoppable energy, confidence, and performance that lasts well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. 11. Optimizing your results, going beyond the basics. Once your foundation is rebuilt and your body begins to respond, that's when the real transformation begins. This is the stage where men tell me they finally feel alive again, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, even spiritually. You start waking up with energy, walking with purpose, and noticing that quiet strength returning to every part of your life. It's not just your circulation that improves, it's your confidence, your relationships, your outlook on aging. But to keep that momentum growing, you have to go one step further. Optimization. Optimization isn't about doing more, it's about doing smarter. Once your daily vitamin ritual is locked in, it's time to support your lifestyle in ways that multiply your results. That means adding movement, not grueling workouts, but gentle, consistent activity that keeps blood flowing through those newly flexible arteries. A brisk morning walk, light resistance exercises, or even deep breathing can make an enormous difference. Movement keeps your nitric oxide levels high, which means better blood flow, sharper focus, and stronger performance where it matters most. It also means paying attention to rest. Most men overlook recovery, yet it's during deep sleep that your body rebuilds testosterone, repairs vessels, and clears toxins. So guard your rest the way you would protect your most valuable possession, because it is. Combine that with a balanced diet rich in whole foods, healthy fats, and hydration, and your vitamins will work like clockwork, delivering oxygen and nutrients exactly where they're needed. I've seen men in their 70s regain the stamina to travel, hike, and reconnect intimately with their partners, not because they took a miracle supplement, but because they mastered the rhythm of daily care. Their vitality became a lifestyle, not a task. They no longer thought about getting older, they focused on living better. That shift in mindset changes everything. So if you've started this journey, don't stop at good. Aim for exceptional. You've rebuilt the foundation. Now it's time to strengthen the structure, to live not just longer, but deeper, fuller, and more powerfully than ever before. And as we move into the final part of this message, I want to leave you with something truly personal, a closing reflection that could change the way you see aging, manhood, and the years ahead. 12. Conclusion. The return of strength, pride, and purpose. When I look back over the decades I've spent treating men, one truth stands above all the rest. Aging doesn't take your strength away. Neglect does. The body is remarkably forgiving when you give it what it needs. I've seen men in their 60s, 70s, even their 80s turn their lives around, not through surgery or medication, but through consistency, awareness, and a renewed respect for their own biology. The simple act of nourishing your body, of giving it vitamin C to rebuild, vitamin D to awaken, vitamin K2 to clear the path, and vitamin E to protect, can reignite systems that have been quiet for years. It's like watching a dim flame grow into a steady fire again. I still remember the day Richard came back to tell me, "Doc, I didn't think this was possible. I feel like I've been given a second chance." He wasn't chasing youth. He was reclaiming himself. That's what this journey is really about. It's not about pretending to be 25 again. It's about becoming the strongest, healthiest version of yourself right now. Because when your body begins to flow again, when your blood moves freely, when your hormones align, when your energy hums through you, something extraordinary happens. You don't just feel better, you feel whole again. Every sip of that morning water, every small commitment you make is a message to your body. I still care. I still believe in my strength. And your body listens. It begins to trust you, to repair you, to reward you. That quiet sign you wake up to, the one that tells you your manhood has returned, isn't just biology. It's your body's way of saying thank you. So as you move forward from here, carry this message with you. It's never too late to start. The vitamins, the habit, the consistency, they're tools. But the real power lies in your decision to take back control. Aging doesn't mean losing your vitality. It means learning to protect it, to nurture it, to own it. And if you stay with me on this journey, I'll keep showing you how to do exactly that. Step by step, ritual by ritual, until your body, your energy, and your confidence remind you every morning that your best years aren't behind you. They're still unfolding right now.